My little project today is to try and make something that would be absolutely indispensable in a survival situation. Perhaps not as essential just after the apocalypse, but someday fibers are going to be very important, particularly twine/rope. And so, how do you make natural fibers? Never done it. I have heard that the Indians around this area made bowstrings out of iris leaves. So this is going to be one of the materials I'm gathering today. And now we're back to the yucca. Every time I turn around, I'm using this thing for something. Here we have the dead yucca. So we'll try these, see which one's better. Another great source of fibers is vines. Here we have morning glory. So for today's experiment, we have dried iris leaves, then we have non-dried yucca leaves, dried yucca leaves, and fresh morning glory. Which of these will produce the best fiber with the least amount of effort? There's many different ways of making fibers. There's different kinds of braiding and that kind of stuff, but I'm going to stick with twining because it seems the easiest and the strongest for what you get out of it.
We're going to start by wrapping one end over the nail. Now basically you want to twist this to the right and then pull it over the left side. And you just repeat that. So now this piece is on the right, so it gets twisted to the right and then it gets passed left. Twist to the right, pass left. Twist to the right, pass left. It's amazing technology, but it's amazingly simple. Then you start to get to the end of your material and you go, wait a second, this is not long enough for a bowstring or whatever I want to do. What do we do next? Get a new piece of iris and just tuck it in with the other one and just start it going. I'm going to do two, each on one side. And these two strands are actually going to end up being quite a bit longer because they're not bent in half. The obvious question is, how strong is our twine and is it going to break where the two pieces were joined together? That's surprisingly strong. Oh, and it broke. But interestingly enough, it did not break at the joint. My next question is, if I wet the iris leaves, will it be stronger as it braids? Something to feel. So there you go, there's the braid when the irises are wet. It felt a lot easier to braid. Now, let's see if it's any stronger. Oh. About the same strength, I'd say, but it felt much more pliable. So if we doubled these up and made it two all the way down, I don't think I'd be able to break it. Yeah. I'm putting the tip of one iris at the bottom of the other to maximize my strength. It just keeps on the move. Now I've made the same knot, but with the irises is doubled up. Oh, still broke it. Wow. It's a bit stronger, but surprisingly that didn't seem twice as strong. Yeah. What we're going to do with these yucca fibers is basically the same as when I made yucca soap. We're just going to get them wet and just start tearing at them and rubbing them in our hands until we isolate the fibers. So now I'm going to take each one of these strands and just work it under the water until I work out all the slimy stuff in between and I'm just left with the fiber. Well, we have succeeded in making soap and a loofah. You get real clean with this stuff. You want to take it and see these green spots? That's where there's still the soapy stuff in there. So you just want to keep working on those spots. Just keep working them apart, loosening them up. And you'll be kind of isolating the strands of the yucca at that point. It's like sinew, you can take it down as much as you want. Now I'm going to hold one end so that this doesn't unravel. Something to take place. There you go. Fiber. Okay, here's my yucca from the live yucca plant. Let's see how tough this stuff is. So I'm going to start with two of these, but I swapped them. So one side, the pointy side's up, and the other side, the base is up. So I get a more uniform fiber count. And you can see I made a pretty good size. That's like 2 feet of yucca rope I made in, I don't know, 3 minutes of weaving or something. So let's see if this is any tougher than our iris twine that we made. Ooh, it's really springy. Holy cow, this is strong. Maybe I can wrap it around my hands. Oh man, that's actually starting to hurt my hand. Well, there you go. The yucca rope is obviously stronger. I cannot break it. Oh my god, it's unbreakable. The yucca cord is, I can't break it. And also the little spice isn't coming out at all. So obviously that's a really great material. Plentiful in the wild, makes soap, edible, yuccas, never cease to amaze me. Now for your dead leaves, you need to remove that area between the fiber as well. But we're just going to do this by rubbing it over something. Let's try the wheelbarrow handle. Once you got a bunch of your yucca fibers all shredded up, then you want to put them in water and soak them and make them more pliable. Next up, we have the dried yucca. This stuff's kind of cool. I mean, the yucca, you can just take it down as fine as you want. I mean, I could braid 2 of these little strands together. I think if you were doing this, you could also get to the point where you were just constantly weaving in new strands. You wouldn't end up with that thick joint on your rope. I can't find a soul. Amazing tensile strength. Couldn't break it. Of note, I would say that it is easier to rub the yucca over the pole than to get the green stuff and add it in water. So normally I would probably go with this technique. One exception to this is that apparently if you use the green stuff, then as it dries it tightens up. So if you wanted to tie something down and have it really cinch down, you might be better off making some green yucca rope. Alright, lastly I have this big pile of vines, which looks very unruly. How's the morning glory gonna fare? Whoa. Just broke. Seriously? This stuff always seems so tough and so gnarly. But it's just breaking up. I thought the morning glory vine would make a really good piece of twine, just because it's pretty gnarly when you're pulling it out, but it just breaks really easy. You don't have fibers in it. Obviously unsuitable for twine making. There are a lot of other fibers out there in nature, and you can just go around and start yanking on stuff and see if it seems like really fibrous and has good tensile strength. You might want to make cordage out of it. So I decided to try and make a decent amount of rope with my dry yucca. And you can see this is way more uniform, and I think I could do it even better now. And it's pretty awesome. It's really strong, and it's pretty long too. See? Check it out. It's about 7 feet. This took about an hour to make, and this is the coolest part right here. It's strong. It's really strong. You know, I could do a lot of stuff with this in the wild. Cordage is one of the most valuable things I could think of, besides knowing how to make fire in a survival situation. So there you go. That's how it's done.